Welcome to Ink and Fitness. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Anthony. I am someone who went from skinny to fit, and these videos are purely educational. So this way, if you are also someone who is on the skinnier side of things, then you can take what you're learning inside of these videos, apply them, be consistent with them, and see your own results. If those of you are wondering, if there are those of you who are wondering, kind of like how I used to look like and how I look like now. Literally, the past several few videos I've made shows pictures before and after, so feel free to check those out. But in terms of today's video content or video idea, we're gonna just talk about how to fix being skinny. And this is really just taken from my own personal mistakes that I've made. So this way, I can just compact it in a nice little video, make it super simple for you all. So that way, it's kind of like as if I'm teaching this to someone who's 10 years old, right? So let's get right into things for today, where the very first thing that you're going to want to do is just eat more, right? If you want to fix being skinny, you need to eat more. And I'm not just saying to pick up the fork and eat as much as you can, right? I'm actually saying you need to be a little bit more efficient in terms of how you're eating. So if you're someone who's not tracking your food, if you're someone who's not tracking your macros or calories, then start doing that. If you're someone who's not tracking their weight once per week, start doing that. Um, if you're someone who just doesn't, want to weigh their food on a scale, then you need to do that for at least a little bit, right? I can understand there's some issues with that, right? But if you want to actually know how much of something is in something, like for example, if you want to know how many grams of protein are inside 4 ounces of chicken breast, then you have to measure it. You have to track the food, and you have to, basically do everything that you need to do to know how many grams of protein are in 4 ounces of chicken breast, right? Because people who are new to the gym, who are beginners, who are skinny specifically, who get told, just pick up the fork, man, just pick up the fork and eat more. Those gym beginners are not going to know how much of something is in something, right? And that's what's going to lead to them thinking that they eat so much, but in reality, they're not eating anything at all, right? They're eating very little or at their maintenance. And it's a no-brainer why they're not gaining any weight, why they're not making any progress. Because they think they're eating a lot, but in reality, for someone who has a keen eye to these things, right, who knows how much of something is in something in terms of food, they know that they're not eating nearly enough to gain weight. So don't just pick up the fork and measure, what you're actually eating. So most skinny guys just complain about eating a lot and not gaining any weight, and the most common reasons are basically just everything that I've already discussed with you, right? I mean, being mistaken how much you're actually eating, not tracking your eating, simply not eating enough, or not actually eating as much as you say you are, right? In that case, you're just lying to yourself. But again, 7 times out of 10, it's just likely because you don't know how much of something is in something. Second reason, or second thing to fix so that way you can stop being skinny, is training harder, right? You're likely not training enough already. So if you have the eating part down, then you need to get the training part down as well. Don't just swing the weights around and expect to get amazing results. Actually put some intensity inside of your training. It doesn't have to be anything crazy to the point where you're throwing up, where you're about to pass out, where you're about to meet Jesus or anything like that. It's just to the point where you're essentially uncomfortable, right? It's your level of exerting yourself, right? Because there's people who don't exert themselves at all. There's some that exert themselves a little bit. And so figure out what your limit is and then just go 1 to 2 reps beyond that, right? Start small and gradually work your way up. It doesn't have to be anything crazy right off the bat. You don't have to go 0 to 100 right off the get-go. You can go 0 to 20, 0 to 40, and just ease your way into it. And then lastly, you just want to make sure each rep counts, right? Each rep that you're doing has a purpose, serves a purpose, and that you're just not, swinging the weights around and your main objective is just to enter and leave the gym. So you want to train with intensity, as I, already said right here. Actually put some intensity into your training. Train with some intensity. If you're used to doing 4 sets, cut it down to 2 sets and take those 2 sets till failure. If you're used to doing 12 reps of every exercise, pick a moderate weight because I guarantee if you're doing 12 reps of a certain exercise, you're not picking nearly as a heavy enough weight that you could be doing. So drop the reps to 6 to 8 reps, 6 to 8, not 68, 6 to 8 reps. Pick a moderate weight that's heavy enough for you to struggle, but also um, moderate enough where you can control the form because controlling the form is everything. And then do those 2 sets to failure with that certain weight. no progressive overload. So the way to fix being skinny is you need to start implementing progressive overload. You can do this in three different ways. Number one is just by increasing weight. Number two is by increasing sets. And number three is by increasing reps. The most popular way that I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen and heard up until this point inside the fitness world is just by increasing the weight. So you just gradually increase the weight on the given exercise that you're doing by 2.5 to 5 pounds, depending on what you feel like you can handle. Obviously, you don't want to overdo it and add 50 pounds to your bench when you completed last week's weight successfully. And last week's weight was like 135 or something. You don't want to do that. That's a big jump. You just want to gradually increase the weight. I would say 10 pounds is the limit. It's the max, in my opinion. If you feel like you can go a little bit heavier, I'm not stopping you, right? It's a free world. But what I always say is just train smart, don't train harder. Or rather, yeah, let me rephrase that. Train harder and smarter, right? Be smart about the weight that you're doing, and you also want to make sure that you're exerting yourself. So yeah, you just want to gradually increase the weight by 2.5 to 5 pounds, 10 pounds being the max. I wouldn't go too crazy on the 10 pounds though. 5 pounds would be ideal if you're looking to, take things to the next level. And then you just want to repeat that process. So for example, for those who are a little bit confused of what I'm talking about when it comes to progressively overloading with weight, um, take for example, you're doing leg extensions for let's say 50 pounds, right? To keep things super simplistic. So you do two sets, 50 pounds, 6 to 8 reps, because that's a moderate weight where it's heavy enough for you to do where you're exerting yourself, but it's also a moderate weight where you can control the form all the way through. So you do two sets for 50 pounds and you reach the top of the rep range for both of those sets. So you reach 8 reps for both of those sets. That means the next week when you do leg extensions again, you can increase the weight by 5 pounds. And so that means you're going to do 55 pounds that time. And you're going to do the same thing, two sets by 6 to 8 reps on that new given weight. And you essentially want to repeat that process. So reach the top of the rep range, 8 reps for both sets with the new weight. And then you can go ahead and increase the weight by another 5 pounds. And you just repeat that process over and over and over again. That's how you get stronger. That's how you build really good quality muscle. And that's how you get really good results. It's slow, so long as, I will say, so long as you also have your eating and rest and recovery dialed in as well, because you just don't want to have one out of the three pillars of fitness dialed in. You want to make sure that you have all three areas dialed in as well. And then we have very little recovery, so that's next up. So if you want to fix being skinny, you have to actually get rest, get sleep. If you're getting anywhere, if you're getting less than 7 hours worth of sleep per night in general, it is killing your gains, right? You need to rest and recover because that's where the muscle growth happens. Your body's opportunity to rest, to repair, to recover itself, so that way you can grow, so that way you can hit the next workout just as hard as you hit today's workout, and you're able to keep trucking along. So if you don't rest, you will miss out on gains and not have your batteries recharged enough to hit your next workout ahead. So you need to make sure that you make sleep priority for yourself. So if you're someone who has trouble with sleeping at night, I would definitely encourage you to look up some sleeping supplements like melatonin, sleepy time tea, whatever you feel like would work best for you. So this way you can guarantee or give yourself the best shot or the best opportunity to get 7 hours worth of sleep per night. And then last but not least, we have a lack of consistency. So if you want to fix being skinny, then you actually have to be consistent with the gym, with eating, and with rest and recovery. So it's honestly a given that you're not going to want to work out every day. You're not going to want to eat the same meals every day. You're not going to, actually, who doesn't love sleep? I love sleep. I mean, I guess if you are someone who struggles with sleep, then yeah, you're not going to love sleep because it's going to be a pain in the ass for you. But for the most part, I'd say at least, you know, I don't know, I'm throwing a random statistic out there. It's not proven by science or anything, but I'd say like 80% of people out there enjoy sleep. So you have to make sure you're dialed in with all three pillars of fitness. You have to be consistent with it as well. So if you're just kind of like, you know, working out every now and then, eating okay every now and you're getting 7 hours of sleep every now and then you're not going to make as much progress as you could have if you dialed in everything: training, nutrition, and recovery. So Some days you'll have to force yourself to work out. You have to force yourself to eat that meal. You'll have to force yourself to fall asleep, right? In whatever ways you feel like forces you to fall asleep. Um, at least specifically speaking with working out, no one wants to work out when they don't feel like it. They only want to work out when they do feel like it. And that's where you have people who, do these New Year's resolutions where they're going to get in shape, they're going to get in the best shape of their life, right? And they don't end up succeeding in that because there's a shit ton of motivation that you get in the very beginning when it comes to your goals, right? And that's why it only lasts a month. People who go to the gym, who are new, who go to the gym, right? They're motivated for a month, and then, once the going gets tough, they start to quit, or, they fall off track, or they have a cheat meal, or, whatever the case may be, right? Or they just don't feel like working out, and that's it, right? They don't go for one day and say, yeah, one day is okay if I don't go. And then one day it turns into 2 days, 2 days turns into three, and then so on and so forth. So you just can't work out when you don't feel like it, or I think I just messed that up. You can't work out when you only um damn, I'm losing my train of thought here today. Thanks for your patience, guys. But you just don't only want to work out when you feel like it, right? That doesn't make any sense. Not everyone's gonna feel like working out, and that's okay. That's where discipline comes into play. That's where your reason why comes into play to help you literally blast through those days where you don't feel like you want to go to the gym. You don't want to be like 90% of the population who says they're gonna get in the best shape of their life or whatever it is, right? Whatever people say about fitness and health pertaining to themselves, and then not end up accomplishing those goals. You have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent with these things, right? You have to rely on essentially your reason why in terms of why you even want to get in shape. Most people, they just, get hop on the hype train. They feel like they have this newfound energy to get in shape, and then that energy just ends up fizzling out. So don't be like one of those people. On those days when you don't feel like working out, those are the most important days for you to actually work out because they define who you are. They mentally toughen you. They really do. Believe me, they do. I've been doing this for a while now, and there's been plenty of days, even now, where I don't feel like working out. But when I do it, and then I get out of the gym, I feel incredible because I did something that I did not want to do, because I promised myself that I would do it, and I stay true to my promise. And that's where confidence in oneself stems from. Not only getting good at a certain thing, but also being self reliant, knowing that you can back up your own words, knowing that you can trust yourself, knowing that you can keep your own promises to yourself no matter how you feel. And this is where you have people who are not confident, who have low self esteem, who can't trust themselves, right, for anything, almost everything, because they say they're gonna do some magnificent thing, but they don't end up doing it. They end up, if they do it, they do it for a little while, and then they just, fall off the wagon. Excuse me. So don't be like that. Actually, stay true to your words. If you're serious about making this fitness stuff work for yourself, and you getting results, then stay true to it. Because ultimately, when you do stay true to it and you start to build up that momentum, that's what's going to help you stay on the path, right? It's what's going to help you stay disciplined. And the minute you start to see results, oof, it starts to get addicting from then on there. That covers it for today's video, though, guys. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If there's a specific video idea that you want to see, just comment it down below. If you're someone who's interested in one-to-one coaching, feel free to check that out in the description below. But until the next one, guys, take care. Much love to you all, and peace.